Do you know how to take care of your sanitation needs when disaster strikes?
Hi, I'm Kylene.
And I'm Jonathan, and we are the Provident Preppers. We are so excited to be part of the 30-day collaboration for preparedness as part of National Preparedness Month here in the United States. We invite you to check out these videos to see what you can do to become more prepared this month. See the description for the links.
In this video, we will explore the skills, supplies, and resources that you need to take care of the sanitation needs of your family when disaster strikes, whether it be a pandemic, an earthquake, or even a winter power outage.
Taking time right now to prepare can make all the difference. Let's get going. We are so excited to talk about disaster sanitation preparations.
It's Jonathan's favorite subject. I kid you not.
But it's so important. This is something that often gets overlooked. We talk about food and water and some of these other things, and we totally forget about sanitation, which is one of the most critical things in being able to stay healthy and happy.
I think it's chocolate.
Well, that too. But we are also so excited to be part of this 30 days of preparedness collaboration. This is an important thing for everyone to do. And I think as pandemic has hit us and we're seeing some of the challenges in the world, more people are waking up to the fact that this is important. So we are excited to be part of this. For a list of the other wonderful preppers that are part of this collaboration, see the description. As we look back over the events of the pandemic, I think it's become very clear that there's great value in having the supplies that you need already in your home before these things happen.
I wish I could give credit to wherever this little note came from, but I find it hilarious. This little note was put up in some type of a store, and it says, "Dear valued customers, due to the recent outbreak of stupidity and panic purchasing by complete idiots, the nation is currently experiencing a shortage of toilet paper and common sense. We expect supplies to be replenished once these sheep-minded morons have all starved to death in their homes, surrounded by toilet paper, but without anything to eat. Thank you for your patience." Now we laugh at that, and yet there is so much truth to that. I still can't figure out why toilet paper was the hot item and not food, and certainly not chocolate. Panic buying hurts everyone, and that's one of the reasons why preppers are actually such an incredible blessing to a community, because prepping helps everyone. When everybody else was panic buying their toilet paper, we were sitting at home with plenty of supplies. This is our master bathroom closet, and this is a shelf that Jonathan installed right above the entrance door. This is just a tiny little room, so it's hard for me to even get a photograph of this, but all this toilet paper is stored there where nobody can see it. It's not in the way. It is quite convenient though when you need it. On this shelf, we have a year's supply of toilet paper for 4 people, along with feminine products. It's not taking up any extra space in our house, and it allows us not to be part of the problem, to be part of the solution. All right, so with sanitation, we need to talk about what some of the potential challenges that we may face that would affect the way that we normally handle our sanitation needs.
In the last few months, we've experienced shortages with toilet paper, with disinfectants, hand sanitizers, hand soap. It helps us to understand that sometimes our supply chains can be very fragile. Most stores have gone to this just-in-time delivery, and when those deliveries can't happen, empty shelves result.
A wise person will take this experience and learn from it and put things on their shelves in their own home to make sure that they can be self-reliant in the event that there's a problem with the supply chain. We're going to list just a few of the things that we think are important to have. Regular household bleach is something that is still off the store shelves a lot. It's really hard to be able to find it lately, but it's great for disinfecting both drinking water and for surfaces. It does have about a 6-month shelf life before the level of chlorine gets weaker and weaker and weaker. So we want to make sure that this isn't something that you rotate through. Don't put this on your shelf and leave it there for 5 years, because it's going to not be as strong as it would be when it was fresh. And the strength of the chlorine is what kills the bugs, and that's why you have it anyway. And you saw those disinfectants go off the shelf. It was insane trying to be able to find anything to disinfect surfaces. So this makes a good argument for making sure that you have some at home all the time. Dishwashing liquid is a basic sanitation item that has so many different uses. Bar soap and liquid hand soap. In our family, when the pandemic started, suddenly we decided we'd just quit showering. It was very interesting to note how difficult it was to live with, especially the members who felt no need to shower for a week. And we have gained a new appreciation for what soap can do for family relations. And the same thing goes with shampoo. These basics are just things that we take for granted, but being able to be clean and feel clean makes all the difference.
And let's not forget about toothbrushes and toothpaste and dental floss and those kinds of things to take care of our oral hygiene.
And laundry detergent. It's really harder to clean clothes when they're really dirty and smelly from not having showered in a week. And the hot topic, toilet paper. What you're looking at right there is the average year supply of toilet paper for one person. The roll sizes change a lot every time you go buy another roll of toilet paper. It says it's double, but it's only what used to be single. So you need about 50 double rolls of toilet paper for a year's supply of toilet paper. Quite frankly, I go through more toilet paper than Jonathan does. And we went through a lot more facial tissue than we usually do. When you think about facial tissue, you think, oh, it's for snotty noses and colds and viruses and allergies and those kinds of things. But we were using them to wipe up a lot of tears from some teenagers who weren't able to go hang out with their friends. And if you've got girls in the house, feminine supplies are always an important staple.
What if we encountered a situation where water supplies were cut off or there were water shortages? Having that stored water is so important, both for drinking water and for hygiene water, and we will focus more on the hygiene water today. If you know something like a hurricane is coming, take some time, get out the pitchers, and store some water so that you'll have that extra supply on top of what you should already have in your storage.
We'd like you to kind of think in the mindset of going camping. Usually where we go camping, water is very limited, and that's kind of what we want to practice so that we can understand what we need and how we need to change our normal routine in order to deal with the water shortage.
One of the solutions that you can employ is to have a hand washing station right there in your sink. The tub below catches all the excess water that can be used for flushing a toilet or irrigation or the first wash cycle for your laundry.
And having had so many children, I have learned that baby wipes are invaluable, not only for little people, but for big people too, just for cleaning hands or faces or armpits that are stinky.
There are some really great low water shower options. If you go to our post on sanitation, we have a lot of details and a lot of great information for you.
When it comes to low water bathing, there are just some techniques that are important to understand so that you can be able to use just a very small amount of water to get yourself clean. We tend to be really spoiled with the amount of water that we use when we bathe. Paper plates are invaluable during a low water situation because like with these paper plates, all I have to do is use them and then we can either compost them or we can burn them and use them as a fuel source. In most of these situations, I hope that we have enough clothing to last so I don't actually have to do laundry, but it's important that we understand how to do laundry and use these low water techniques. If you click the card in the corner, it will take you to a post that I have written on how to do laundry during an emergency, and you'll learn a few tips and tricks there.
Now let's talk about how a power outage may affect the way that you take care of your sanitation needs. Very often, if there is a power outage, an extended power outage especially, running water sometimes goes away because a lot of cities rely on wells or upon pumps to make sure they get water where they need it. If that water is gone, how are you going to take care of those needs? And in an extended situation, there may be sewer systems that also go down. Your ability to dispose of human waste and dirty water becomes a real challenge then. So if there is no sewer, you need to have some backup toilet options. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Without our convenient appliances, how are you going to get your laundry done?
And it's not such a big deal that your dishwasher won't work. Well, that's kind of a big deal. But the fact that you are using alternative ways to cook your food can mean that without your dishwasher and without your running water, suddenly you have a dirty pot like that to deal with. So sometimes we really just need to think this stuff through.
Every week when I hear the trash truck, I am so grateful that they come around and take away all our garbage. Think about your neighbors if you don't want to think about yourself. What's going to happen to all that trash if the garbage man can't come?
We want to start by separating the garbage, because if you put it all together, then it's all contaminated. Take any kitchen scraps that you have or anything that's biodegradable, and you can just compost them. Trash that is burnable, that won't put toxins in the air, can actually be used as a fuel source, or it can be disposed of by burning. Just be really careful about local regulations. And a lot of what we throw away can be repurposed. And if we are in a situation where we suddenly turn into this scarcity mode, making sure that you repurpose items that are still good can become a very valuable asset. And then if we're going to have to hold on to that trash for any length of time, we want to flatten the cans or flatten those bottles, make sure that we make that trash as compact as we possibly can, and then store it in the bags. That is one of the reasons why you need lots and lots and lots of garbage bags of several different sizes and good quality garbage bags. And now the topic that no one wants to talk about, but being a mother of 11, I know all about: human waste disposal. One of the things that we do to create a backup for us is that anytime I have flannel sheets that wear out or pajamas that wear out, I cut them into 8x8 flannel squares. And then I just stack them up and I tuck them away in these ice cream containers. We store these away so that if we do run out of toilet paper, we can use the flannel squares. And yes, washing them will be a royal pain in the tush, but it would be much better than the alternative. If you combine both urine and feces together, it is all contaminated. But urine, as it leaves the body, is fairly sterile. One of the things that I would do is to encourage family members that are able to actually urinate in the privacy of the backyard, because that would be fairly safe. However, feces is a contaminated material and really has to be dealt with as contaminated waste. This is a permanent porta potty. And it's really simple to do. It's that garbage bag thing, right? You have to have lots of good quality garbage bags. You would never want to do this with a cheap garbage bag. Once this is full of your eliminations and you are picking it up and putting it into a bucket to carry it outside, you don't want that plastic bag breaking. But this is a really cool way to be able to not have an additional expensive device and just have to store garbage bags. If you click the card in the corner and go to the sanitation post that we have written, you will find all kinds of great details on how to actually set up your toilet and do this. I saw this at a preparedness fair that we were at, and this woman was brilliant, because one of the things that's really bad about a bucket toilet is that they're unstable. And think about it. So if you are a tall person or a large person or a short person, and you're trying to use this 5-gallon bucket to do your duty, and it tips over with you on it, it could be a very bad situation. So she has adapted this where you have all the comforts of home. Now you've got a lot more smell than home, but I think this was just a really good idea. And then you have the outliers in the crowd that use something like a bumper dumper. I didn't even know these existed. But if you've got scouts or hunters in your family, something like that, you may be fully aware of what a bumper dumper is. Jonathan, would you like to explain this to them? Ladies and gentlemen, he is speechless.
This is a van that belongs to a friend of ours, and I saw that on the front, and I saw it week after week, and I thought, I have no idea what that thing is. It must be some kind of a hitch that pulls something or pushes something. Turns out it was a bumper dumper, and he had to explain it to me.
And one of the things that's going to be very valuable is a good shovel, so that you can actually dig down nice and deep and bury that human waste so that it doesn't smell and it doesn't become a source of contamination and spread disease. The other option that you have is to store the waste in buckets until the situation is resolved and you are directed as to what to do with it from some of your local officials. And finally, we need to consider the special needs of those that we love and that we are responsible for their sanitation needs. Like Benjamin here eating his dinner, it's a lot harder to clean him up than it is to clean Jonathan up after he eats dinner.
Probably close, but he probably a little bit more than I am.
And same thing with the young children. They're busy learning to be potty trained, which can be very difficult if you are working in a situation where your supplies are limited or your water is limited. They're also really low to the ground, and somehow that dirt and all the slime just catches up to them and covers them every day.
Like a magnet.
Like a magnet. And then our beloved elderly and disabled friends. and family. It's just really important. We really need to think about who it is that we have in our care and make sure that we can meet their unique needs with as much dignity as possible.
There's a big difference between doing planning and thinking about these things and actually knowing that you have something that's going to work. It is so important that we practice and apply what we've learned and modify our plans so that we know we have a plan that's going to work. This has been a whirlwind trip through sanitation, and there's more information that you can learn. We invite you to check out the Provident Prepper, prepping for basic emergency sanitation, and also emergency sanitation for our little loved ones. These posts have a massive amount of information that will help you on this path. We also have some great videos, including emergency sanitation, that goes through everything that we've talked about and a lot more. Also, how to tame the stench. The smells that can come with some of these disasters and challenges can be pretty intense. This talks about how to deal with that and how to minimize that stench. Check them out.
Okay, now you are armed with basic information. In the description below, we have some links to some articles that we have written that go into great detail about emergency sanitation and things that you need to know. Read them and then develop an action plan unique to your family. Then go to the store and pick up the basic supplies that you need and teach your family the skills that they need to know.
And now for the questions of the day. What steps are you taking to make sure your sanitation needs are met in an emergency? And what advice can you give to our viewers? Comment below. And thanks for being part of the solution.